Hey everyone, I'm Liz Fairy, and I'm just going to really quickly show you today the finishing touches for creating the face on my crochet doll. First, I'll show you how I sewed the face into shape, then I'll show you how I created the ears on the side of the head. You can find the link to the written patterns for all of my crochet dolls, as well as the video tutorials on my channel in the description below. Before I begin, I just want to say that you should be careful doing this process, and make sure you really want to shape the face, because it's a little tricky to undo it if you happen to change your mind. Alright, with that said, let's get started. I'll be using a yarn needle and a strand of yarn that's the same color as my doll to do this. First, I'll sort of pinch the eyes into the face at about the depth that I want them to be, and I'll secure them in place by inserting the needle through the side of the face, through the backs of both eyes, and out the other side of the face. So I'll fasten the needle and the yarn, and bring it out on the side of the face. Then, while holding the eyes in the correct position, I'll insert the needle into the side of the face, through the backs of the eyes, and out the other side of the face. Then I'll go back and forth a few times to secure the stitch, while still holding the eyes in place. Next, I shaped the doll's jawline by stitching back and forth from one side of the jaw to the other and pulling the yarn to tighten the jaw into the right shape. Then I'll do the same to the bottom at the back of the head. Sometimes sewing through the doll can shift the fiber fill out of the right place, or warp the shape of the doll, so be careful not to pull too hard on the yarn while doing this. Every once in a while you'll see me use the tip of the needle to fix this by sticking the needle in, and using the tip to fluff the fabric and the fiber fill inside back into the right shape. Now it's time to build the nose. First, I'll bring the needle out at the center front of the face about where I want the nose to go. Then I'll stitch back and forth up along the bridge of the nose to tighten the fabric and give the nose a more narrow shape. Then at the bottom of the bridge where the nose goes, I'll create layers of stitches, one on top of another, to build up the shape of the nose until it gets big enough. Just do this a couple of times if you want to create a really tiny nose, and do it more times to create a larger nose. Once you're happy with the size, use the same technique to create stitches from the nose up the bridge to blend the nose with the bridge. Finally, once the nose is complete, I'm going to insert the needle into the bridge of the nose, right in between the eyes, bringing it out at the center back of the head. Then I'll pull tightly on the yarn to bring in the bridge of the nose a little more, to give it a more realistic shape. Then I'll stitch back and forth a few times to secure that stitch in place. Again, be careful not to warp the shape of the back of the head while doing this. Next, let's make the ears. This method is a little tiny bit more complex. So first, I'll bring the needle out at the side of the head, level with the bottom of the eyes. Then I'm going to build up a little foundation chain to work the ear onto, using a lazy daisy chain stitch. So I'll insert my needle into the same place on the side of the head where I started, then bring it out a little tiny bit higher, at a slight angle towards the back of the head. But before I pull the needle through to make the stitch, I'll wrap the yarn around the tip of the needle, and this will form a little chain link, much like a crochet chain stitch. I'm going to do that again, but this time I won't chain through the head, but instead through the chain that I just made, so that the chain pops away from the head. I'll show you what I mean. So I'll insert my needle back in where I ended the last stitch, through the loop of the chain. But this time I won't bring it out towards the back of the head, I'll just stick the needle through the loop of the chain. And again, before I pull the needle through to make the stitch, I'll wrap the yarn around the tip of the needle, then pull through to create a chain. Then I'll repeat that one more time, insert the needle through the loop of the last chain, wrap the yarn around the tip, and pull through to create a chain. Now I have a little chain projecting out the side of the head to form the foundation of the ear. Next, to create the shape of the ear, I'll stitch around the side of the chain all the way down. I'll keep adding stitches this way until the ear reaches a good shape. Finally, I'll outline the outer edge of the ear using a blanket stitch. This is sort of like the chain stitch, but instead of creating a loop of stitches, I'll be making a line down towards the edge of the ear. You could actually use the chain stitch if you prefer, but I would rather use a blanket stitch so that I don't add too much bulk to my doll. So I'll insert my needle into the edge of the ear, through the back to the front. And before pulling the yarn through to make the stitch, I'll again wrap the tip of the needle with the yarn. Then pull through to make the stitch. I'll repeat this process all along the edge of the ear. And as you can see, it's created a small line going down the edge. Now this ear is done. Next, I'll simply repeat the process on the other side to make another ear. Once I finish outlining the other ear, I can insert my needle into the head of the doll and sew in the end to secure it. And now my doll's face is done. You can really see the difference that sewing the face makes. There's a huge possibility to customize the doll, and I'm excited to try using this technique to make all sorts of different shapes of nose, ears, and eye depths. Next up is the wig and the costume. You can find all of my doll clothes and wig videos in a playlist in the description below, so that you can get some ideas on how to finish your doll. What kind of doll do you think I should make? What color wig and what type of costume? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're interested in the written pattern for any of my crochet dolls, you can find the link to my pattern store on RalphReal, where you can find all of my designs, in the description below. And as always, if you use this technique to make a doll of your own, I'd love to see your interpretation. You can find all of my social media links in the description below, or you could tag me on Instagram @LizFairy. If you enjoyed this tutorial, you could press the like button or share it on social media, and if you'd really like to help out the channel, you can donate to my Patreon. You can get some pretty cool perks through Patreon, like seeing my videos early, ad-free versions of a lot of my videos, and discounts in my RalphReal store, depending on your level of donation. You can find out more about that at patreon.com/fairyrings. You could also subscribe and click the bell icon so that you don't miss my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!